Now let's talk about healthy female relationships.
I think maybe we can talk about this on the podcast. I think about that a lot with my novel because I'm like my character has a beef with like one woman, and I'm like, should she beef with this woman? Should they just be strong
Mm-hmm.
male, lawyers together? I don't know.
Mm.
All right, all right. Welcome to the For Pookie podcast. We're so happy to have everyone here with us. All 30 subscribers and 2 watchers. Yay!
I was proud of my little 30.
Yeah, I saw the 30. I was really excited. My name is Azaria. I'm a magical realism fiction writer, and I'm a doctoral student because I'm trapped. Mm.
Mm-hmm. And I am Taylor, and I am an indie author writing fiction. Started with romance, moving into mystery.
I'm so excited for your transition into mystery. I I'm really excited to see the first manuscript. Okay,
You'll get
so
it soon, baby.
check in. How are things since the last time we talked for the podcast? Since we talked otherwise.
Um, I forgot what I said, but I probably said that I finally got um something with my manuscript done 2 months later, and now I have 2 weeks to finish, to start and finish. I have not gotten past chapter one in my manuscript. Edits because I want to edit this month and next month, and then give it to the editor, i.e. you.
Me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Excellent.
So
You always give yourself, we've talked about this before, you always give yourself these deadlines.
yeah. And I give myself plenty of time, but like I don't get serious about it until the deadline, which is why I have to do deadlines because da da da. I would still
Okay.
just be here month after month.
I couldn't get anything done like that. But I mean, whatever works, works.
I guess, yeah.
For me, I also don't remember what I talked about last time.
We'll do
But
better next time.
I'm trying to keep these notes. So actually today in a couple of hours, there's a hearing at the Nebraska legislature about banning DEI in public institutions. So
Mm.
I was helping circulate some information about that. I wrote a statement in opposition of that, et cetera, et cetera. I've still been reading a book a week. I actually read a whole book yesterday. It was great. Um, and my novel, so I finished putting in all of my written edits. And so between today and tomorrow, I have to just go back through, do another read over, and then I'm finally going to send it to my beta readers. So my good friend Quentin and my advisor. Um, and I hope to get some comments from them by mid-April, maybe. And then after that, I'll be in sort of the last push to revise it before I start querying.
Yeah, I'm ready for you to start querying.
Me too. I've been ready to start querying.
Yeah.
I just needed something to query with. And I was going to start
Mhm.
with the 16, my short story collection. But like I said before, all the agents are like, no, don't send me that. Don't send me no
Mhm.
collections of no kind. So,
But
uh,
didn't you finish your novel like late last year, like November?
well, I finished like a first draft of it. So it wasn't ready for other people to see yet.
Okay,
There
okay,
was,
okay.
yeah, at that point, there were still like a lot of yellow highlights, a lot of blanks. That's what you call them in
Mhm.
yours. Like a lot of missing entire scenes.
Mhm.
And then maybe like the last third of the novel was like mostly dialogue, which is fine if that's like if it's doing what it's supposed to do, but it wasn't. It was just
Yeah.
conversations in place. So now it like looks like a manuscript.
Aww,
Yeah, it looks like
that's
what.
so fun. Yeah.
And it makes sense now because before it didn't make sense. It's readable now. So now I think
Hmm.
after I get their feedback, it's going to be more about like the fine tuning of things.
Hmm. Of course. Yay.
All right. So now we're going to do it this month in writing. So I thought this one was really appropriate. So on March 11th, 1959, A Raisin in the Sun originally opened on Broadway. And it had 530 performances, won 6 Tony Awards, and was the first play written by a Black woman to run on Broadway. Ow, ow,
Hmm.
ow.
Hmm.
And it was based on, so it was written by, oh my goodness, what's her name? I think Lorraine Hansberry. And she based it on her father's Supreme Court case, which is called Hansberry versus Lee, which was challenging a racial covenant in like a housing development. And so the racial covenant essentially said, don't sell these houses to nobody black, baby. Don't do it. We don't want them.
Right.
But the issue wasn't that discriminating in that way was unconstitutional. The issue was that only 54% of the people living in the development actually signed the covenant. So since you sort of had these two parties of people who were with the covenant versus people who weren't, and the person selling the house to Hansberry did not sign the covenant, then it couldn't be applied to them.
Mm-hmm.
So while it is like a landmark case, it's an important case. I'm so sure that it doesn't mean what a lot of people think it means, which is that racism or discrimination of that type is unlawful, because it's not actually.
Yeah.
It said that it is lawful as long as you have a bigger part of the people in the development that are for the racial covenant.
Mm.
But yeah, a raisin in the sun, yay! It's kind of like a
Yay!
I love a raisin in the sun, but I can't ever get over the fact that Diddy starred in the film version of Racial Rich.
Girl.
So that's a
Did
blood.
you hear? I don't know much about it. All I did was see the headline. But Kanye West released a song with Northwest and Diddy. Did you see that?
But that doesn't surprise me. He's just like doing whatever he can to get some
Mm.
attention. It's really like
Mm.
it's not even, I don't think it's sad. I thought it was sad maybe for a bit, but now I don't. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
annoying. They're gonna keep talking about it. People are gonna
Yeah.
keep listening to it.
That's why I
Never
just
stop.
read the headline and moved about my business. I was like, enough said.
Yeah,
I don't
when I
need a
saw
no
Yadoff
clicks for
Hitler,
me.
Yitler, I was like, okay, like how about we stop talking about him? And then
Ew. What the fuck? I'm out.
that's
I'm
what he
out.
said. Yep.
Mm. Okay.
Oh, right. So this is Women's History Month. Is that right?
Yes. Don't question it. It's the greatest month of all time.
I wasn't trying to question it. Um,
Yes.
okay. So do you want to ask your questions first?
Oh, where are my questions? Let me look. I thought you had them.
I do. So who are women that
Okay.
inspire you?
Who are women that inspire me? My mother. My granny, I just want to be her when I technically now, but I guess when I grow up. Um, but I'm trying to think there. Oh, shit. Who was it? I literally just saw them. I want to say it was Issa Rae, but I don't think that's right. There's some black woman writer who I like am recently obsessed with, and I for some reason am blanking.
Well, Issa Rae has a
But
coffee shop, so that seems like right up your alley.
coffee shop, we know this. But no, I hate myself for not remembering. I might have to do some googling in the background, but yeah, my mom really inspires me. She is such a badass bitch. And I'm just like, how do you do this? Don't you just want to sit home and cry? And she's like, no, I don't have time for that. And I'm like, so yes, I want to be like my granny because she's cool. And I want to be like my mom because she's like the baddest bitch. And I want to be like black writers I look up to. And I'm going to try to find the one that I am currently looking up to, but can't think of her right now, which is so embarrassing. But yeah, what about you?
Well, I also was thinking of the women in my family first because of like persistence, because of resilience. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I was thinking particularly of my Aunt Robin, who passed this year, and I didn't get to go to her funeral. But like, I remember one day when I walked to the corner store with her in Roanoke, Virginia, and some boys were sagging their pants, and she was like, "Excuse me, pull your pants up." And like he just like they turned around and looked at her for a second and then they were like, yes, ma'am, and just pulled their pants up. She just had like this way of like commanding respect, but she was also just like a
Amen.
warm, genuine, generous woman.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I also remember my dad, when he was younger, my dad was in these streets. Okay. And so was my uncle. My uncle is a year and a half younger than my dad. They were both like in these streets. The only thing that saved my uncle's life was going into the military. The only thing that saved my father's life was having my older brother. And they
Oh,
were in
okay.
Newark, New Jersey. And my Aunt Robin was up there visiting them. And there was some incident that happened like on the block, and there were this group of guys trying to jump my dad. And so my dad like ran to his house, and my Aunt Robin comes outside,
This
and
is his
she
sister.
no, his aunt. So she's my
Oh,
great aunt.
okay, got
And so she comes outside and she's like, if you're gonna fight my nephew, you're gonna fight me too. And takes off her earrings and like is ready to like get down with these young men over my dad. And I've never seen that side of her, but I fully believe it. Like
it.
there's no doubt that that happened.
Hmm.
Um, in terms of other people or other Black women or just women, excuse me, that I look up to, I put Jesmyn Ward, who's the writer of Salvage the Bones, for a lot of the reasons that I just said, persistence, resilience. I was teaching Salvage the Bones in my creative writing class, and I mentioned to them, Jesmyn Ward had like all of the men in her family die within like 3 years. Her husband, her brothers, like all of them.
That's hilarious.
And she wrote a book about it, of course, because she's a writer. But I just think she's so cool also and so resilient.
Hmm.
I think she
Hmm.
has a group called like Pretty Girls Like Hip Hop or something like that.
Hmm.
I just think she's very cool. Of course, I have Toni Morrison on here.
Hmm.
But you know why I like Toni Morrison. And then the last woman I have on here is like more obscure. She is a woman that I actually based a character in my novel off of. Her name is Natalie Whittingham Burrell, and she's a public defender in Maryland.
Hmm.
Um, and so she's just this Black woman. She Jamaican ancestry. She grew up in like Queens, New York, or whatever. And she's just like the nicest, most level-headed, most generous person I think I've ever come across on the internet.
Hmm.
Um, and brilliant, also, absolutely brilliant. And she's like sort of constantly facing these like issues. Um, and it just never comes across that way. And so,
Mm.
for example, um, within the last couple of years, she's had like several very bloody, very like harmful miscarriages. Um,
Oh,
yeah, and so she's been like upfront with that.
content warning.
I know, not with like the gory details or whatever, but she's been upfront, like, I'm not gonna post for a while. I had a miscarriage, like,
Hmm.
but like, I don't know, she's just so gracious and like so
Hmm.
level-headed. And so one of my characters, I have a family of characters called the Whittinghams, and then I have a family, or I have a woman named Natalie, and so I just based them off of her. And when I like had a very brief like stationery business that I was running, I sent her like a promo package, and she said yes, and she showed it on her channel for free, de gratis, and I got sales just from that.
Hey.
Um, yeah, and so like I will always just I feel like be in debt to her and just be grateful for her. I think she's wonderful.
Aw.
Did you find a writer?
Well, okay, duh. My writer is Kennedy Bryan, also Nicola Yoon, but Kennedy Bryan right now because she's just popping off. She's coming out with her third book in the Before I Let Go series, and then she's writing a follow-up sequel to something she published years ago. She is the greatest auntie of all time. Um, I love her so much. But I'm also really, really, really into Denise Williams. She's also a romance author. She writes like cute plus size romance. And she, if you look her up, she is so cute. I just want, even though she's like a grown ass woman, but I just want her to love me, and I get to see her at Romance Con because I will be there as well as an attending author. And she's there, and I just look at her photo all the time because she's like, and I love her, and I want her to be my friend. There's so many authors at Romance Con that I want to be my friend, but we shall see.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm not going to romance con, but I feel that too. Like there are writers
You
that I want to.
should. You said you might. It's the one in Wisconsin.
Oh, I probably put it in my planner then, but I'll see, of course.
Yeah,
I can
you can
try.
be my person, my
Um,
plus one.
But I will say that like I know that you've been moderately maybe unsuccessful with like connecting with people online, with other writers online.
Hmm.
And I have been pretty moderately unsuccessful with connecting with writers in person.
Hmm. Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
because I feel like,
Interesting.
but I feel like it's for a similar reason. And so like because when I was talking to you about it, I was saying like maybe like you're I don't know, you're too excited at the beginning or whatever. I think it's that. Like I always come
Yeah,
in
probably.
new situations trying to be not like extroverted, but just trying to make it clear that like I'm very happy to be here. Like I'm really happy to like be around everyone. And I think that that
Yeah.
like scares people off. Yeah.
Weird.
All right.
So, speaking of that, yeah, I'll be at Romance Con and I'm going to make a scrapbook and try to like meet everyone. But like I said, you got one time to make a first impression, and I am a vibe girl. And if you're giving me the cold shoulder, I will move on. Like, I really don't need this. Not if it's Denise Williams, though. I will like stalk her.
There are definitely some exceptions to the rule.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. Here's your second question. What are some pros of Black women relationships or just women in relationships?
What's my third question?
What book would you rewrite from a woman's perspective?
Oh no, that's your question. Okay, so
Oh,
this is my third question. What is the importance of Black women relationships? Um, babe, we just get it. You don't have to be there. You don't have to know X, Y, and Z. It's just like delegating what, okay, I'm gonna just use us. Delegating what I have been through. Either you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe, like, you'll just like come back with like, oh my God. Or you'll be like, I got my own story. Woo, 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 woo. And it's all about that connection, that understanding, because I could say the same thing to a white friend, and I know they want to be in my corner, but they're just like, they don't get it. And I don't blame them for that at all. I just definitely respect and prefer the Black experience of telling a story, because it's not just like I told my story and that is the end. I told my story, you getting hype, I'm rehype. Like you got to go through the motions. You got to go through the motions to get it out and move on. And you get like different perspectives on like if that same type of problem happened to you, you will discuss how you handled it, and I'd be like, oh, interesting. But yeah, it's like, I'm sorry babes, but like there is a difference, and mama needs that and respects that.
I definitely think there's a difference, and I think that it feels, excuse me, like a unique area, like a unique void. I so aside from the Black women in my family, I have you as a friend, and I have Courtney as a friend, and those are like the Black women in my life.
Mm.
Um, because I do go to a school that's 72% white. And I do work in a graduate department that is really disjointed. There's not a lot of community there. I work part-time in a place where I'm the only Black person. Um, and I had a similar experience when I was at Butler University, and then when I was at the University of Lynchburg. Like I'm usually the only Black person in the class. I'm like, you know what I mean? And so
Mm-hmm.
first of all, just being able to like continue to have a relationship with you and Courtney, I think has just
I
been
know. I was like, I'm not letting you go,
it's been
especially
really
after that one white, but
not one white. um, and I think too that like um I this is the reason that we inevitably don't end up getting like a ton of writing done when we go on our little retreats and stuff, because just having that energy in the room,
mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
makes us
Especially
want.
you and Courtney, you're like, let's go down the R&B rabbit hole, and I'm like,
We did that. No, we did it both times. We did it both times.
yes, take over the whole TV.
Well, and the thing is that like who do I talk about that with in my life? Right? Like I have Quentin. He's great. He loves Black music. But like
I be
Quentin
quizzing
is
him.
not
I'm
a
like,
Black
who is
woman.
this? Yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
oh my gosh. And like even when we do like our monthly meetings, I feel like there are definitely times where we're like just silent on the call or whatever, but we're mostly talking the whole time. And the hour goes by so fucking fast every
Hmm.
time. Because we just like enjoy each other's company. Whereas
Hmm.
I don't know, that just isn't always the case in my other relationships. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, and so I definitely think that it fills a void, and of course,
Hmm.
just relate to me in a way that's different from the way that Quentin
Hmm.
relates to me, or like my other
Hmm.
colleagues would relate to me. Even my mom, even my mom, I feel like doesn't relate to me as well as you guys do, because like you, all three of you are Black women, but like we're closer together in age, right? We're writers, all that.
Hmm.
So it really does
Hmm.
like fill this unique space that I
Yeah.
feel like I couldn't get filled in any other way.
Hmm. Hmm. That is very true with my mom too, because I'll be like this, and this. And she's like, I don't know what this means, but I'm like, AzariaVoiceNote.com.
Yeah, I go through that with my mom too. Like I'll be talking about something, and she's like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh gosh,
Ah! It's like,
crash course."
and I'm like, I have told you this multiple times.
Yep, yep, yeah. So,
So.
yeah, I wouldn't give up these relationships
Mhm.
for a second. Okay, so my first question, I forgot that this was my question,
Yeah, I was like,
is
I have never thought of that before in my
what
life.
book would you rewrite from a woman's perspective? And so I in general, I don't think like gender swapping is a good way to write a narrative, right? Unless something instrumental about the narrative changes. So like if we were to make Barney a female dinosaur, that's dumb. Like let's just have it be Barney. And you can apply that
Hmm.
to any work, right?
Hmm.
But I do I really like stories that are about women like behaving badly.
Oh yeah,
And I
totally.
just want more of those because we get
Hmm.
all these stories about psychopathic men and
Hmm.
their killing sprees and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But it's never like that for a woman. And I want,
Hmm.
and so to be clear, I want fictional ones. I don't want like
Hmm.
a female version of Jeffrey Dahmer to have a documentary.
Oh
I don't
no,
want
no,
Jeffrey
no,
Dahmer to have a
no.
documentary. You know what I mean? Um,
Yep,
but I want
fictional.
fictional ones. And so, like, my friend Quentin, who I keep bringing up, he's actually told me that he wants to write a collection of short stories that are about women behaving badly. And he wants it to be like, do you know the song Cell Block Tango?
Mm-mm.
It's a song that's like, he had it coming. He had
Oh
it.
yeah, 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 yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
song. And so it's just like these individual narratives about what these women did to get
Uh-huh.
women in their lives and
Uh-huh.
what he wants to write. And I was like, oh, that's going to be so good. The only
No,
thing
it is.
that might make it better is if a woman writes it.
Oh,
um,
well, that's true.
yeah, but he's
Yeah,
such a good writer. I
yeah.
and I just think that would be really great. And then let me see.
So what's the book?
What do you mean? What's the book?
What's the book that you would want rewritten by a woman or a
I'm
woman's perspective?
right now.
Okay, I'm looking at my bookshelf too.
And so
I don't read many men.
I said that it would be interesting to see like cult classics rewritten with a woman protagonist because a lot of them just don't have a woman protagonist. So even stuff like Catcher in the Rye or like Fahrenheit 451, um, I just and you know the protagonists of both of those books are not great people, and
Yeah.
so really at the heart of my request for more books from a woman's perspective is not even to rewrite books from a woman's perspective, but to just give women and even like trans people and like non-binary people more chances to be fucked up in fiction.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because I don't know about you, baby, but I'm not chaste and perfect. And I don't know
Hmm.
what that is. So I don't
Hmm.
know. I just would really like to see that reflected in literature.
The only two books I could think of is The Great Gatsby. Could you imagine? And
Awesome.
The Outsiders. Could you imagine? That would be so cool.
I'm really resonating with The Great Gatsby because, like, it's the Roaring Twenties, and the Roaring Twenties were so much about like opulence and just like
Hmm.
parties and luxury. I think that
Hmm.
would be really cool, rewritten
Hmm.
from a woman's perspective. You could even keep it.
Do it.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if I would do
I
it.
don't think I could,
I,
but I'm gonna think about the outsiders. Like, could you imagine groups of women and then stay golden pony boy? Okay, okay.
that would be cool.
Question. I
That
like
would
that
be
question.
cool. And one thing that Quentin brings up all the time too is like narratives like that are maybe like post-apocalyptic, or where like tribalism is really important, right? Where you have these like groups of people, like Lord of the Flies, for instance, was one that we were talking about. And he was just like, I think that if you made all of the characters women or girls, that the entire narrative would be different. Like
Yeah,
imagine Lord of
totally.
the Flies with a group of girls.
Right.
He was like, it would be different because he was like, all those girls would fucking kill each other. Like that's what he said. And
That's
like
not where I went, but
well,
okay.
Lord of the Flies is about like a bunch of 11 and 12-year-olds. And I don't know about
Uh-huh.
you, when I was 11 and 12, I was a fucking savage. And so
Uh-huh.
I believe it. But if we were talking about the outsiders, or like where we have like teenagers or like early 20s, then I think that the sort of communalism and like socialism would shine through, rather than
Hmm.
like our need to be savage and to kill each other.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, I think that's interesting as well.
I'm really hanging on to this Great Gatsby thing right now, but
So
okay, let's
I'm
continue.
gonna write that.
Hmm.
Not for me. I don't know. Ask an AI to do it. That'd be interesting.
No.
Why not? Not to like write a book. I'm saying like write a 500-word story about the Great Gatsby, but from a woman protagonist or something.
Dollar in the jar.
Oh, I'm not giving
That's
you a
like
dollar.
a trigger word for me. AI and Chat GTP. I'm like,
Well, get untriggered because it's gonna be everywhere.
mm.
At the school,
Anyway,
there's all kinds of stuff about us implementing AI and learning to use it ethically and stuff like that. Um,
learning to, if you have to use it ethically, you shouldn't be using it.
well, I've had to use it several times for several classes. So there's that. All right. So my next question is, how can literature and writing help us combat recent attempts to steamroll women's rights? So first, I have a little response, and I'll just read it. But before I read it, I just want to say I saw this coming. Anyone with the brain saw this coming.
Mm. Hmm.
Because while Kamala Harris was running for president, there were a lot of reasons for people to not want to vote for her. But one of the most brazen and ridiculous reasons I saw was because she's a woman. And they
Hmm.
wouldn't necessarily say that. They would say stuff like, how many dicks did she suck? How many, oh, you didn't see that? Yeah, yeah. There were like
What?
little, yeah, there were like little illustrations that would be like a silhouette of her giving fellatio.
That is sick.
Absolutely, it is. There would
Is
be
it, was it by a man?
absolutely, but women were posting stuff like this too, and so there
No,
would be
yeah.
um, comments and videos focusing on her neck fat and all of this just really misogynistic featureism that no one is worried about with the current president. We call him orange. He is orange, right? He's
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
and while people might bring up the fact that he's fat sometimes, that's not a really popular reason to detract from his policies, of which he has
Hmm.
not.
Mm-mm.
Right? It's the policies that people worry about. It's the messaging, the rhetoric. And a lot of other people did not know anything about Kamala Harris, what she stood for,
Hmm.
what she
I
fought
have
for,
seen that. They look so
nothing.
dumb.
They just knew that she was a
Hmm.
woman and that she's black
Hmm.
adjacent or whatever they want to call
Hmm.
her nowadays. And that was a reason
Hmm.
enough to not vote for her. So now conservative women are frightened and shaking in their boots because conservatives are pushing to stop no fault divorce. Conservatives are
Hmm.
pushing to make pornography illegal. Conservatives are pushing anti-DEI legislation that affects white women more than
Hmm.
any other group. Conservatives are pushing to get women out of politics
Hmm.
altogether. They want them up
Did you
out of
hear
it.
about they can't vote unless they have their birth name or something?
Yeah, so that got struck down, but
Oh,
it did. It was called like the Save Act, I think. Um,
okay.
that got struck down. But just the fact that someone sat
Right.
down, took the time to
Mm-hmm.
write and propose the bill is a problem. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Yes, totally.
Um,
Totally. This is
okay,
why I would, from birth, I was like, I'm not changing my name for what?
okay. Like, come on now. And I know that you really like your name. I also really like my name. I think it works
Yeah, I have
really
a great
well.
name.
Azaria Brown. I think that works perfectly. We don't
You
need
think I'm changing my name to Farabee? Fuck off.
Taylor J. Farabee sounds like Gone with the Wind, kind of.
No, that is a horrible name. I don't even like the letter F. Like, no, no.
Like, and
Anyway.
so I think that it's important just to keep women's rights at the forefront of your mind as all of these other
Mm,
things are not. Okay, so here are my suggestions. First of all, keep writing whatever the fuck you want, always.
check.
Write
Got
whatever
it.
you want. Don't let conservatism box you into a corner. Um,
Hell no.
Sometimes women's concerns are not safe for work. Does that mean that we can't write about them? Does that mean we can't discuss them? Absolutely not. Everyone's concerns are not safe for work sometimes. That's why they're
Mm-hmm,
fucking
mm-hmm,
concerning. Um, Talk about women behaving badly and
mm-hmm,
women behaving well. We need both.
mm-hmm,
And then talk about women who have overcome obstacles in their lives. Tell the stories of women who are constantly being silenced. So, if
mm-hmm,
on the off chance you're not a woman that's being silenced, then use your voice, use your writing to write about the women who are being silenced.
mm-hmm.
That's my advice.
Girl, I'm gonna put this on threads. I put it on threads, but I wonder how many people watch it because yeah, there's a lot of discord in the world right now, especially with writing and reading and who can write what and this, that, and the other. I think we talked about this once about like um a non-white or excuse me, a non-black author writing black characters and stuff and yeah, there's just so many opinions.
We could reignite that real quick, like
Let's
just
do
for the 30 subscribers. I think that, and I'm pretty sure this is what I said last time. I think that you should be able to write characters of whatever color or
it.
religion or
Hmm.
culture that you want. But it's sort of
Hmm.
when, I don't know, you start using those characters as a bargaining chip, or you're
Hmm.
constantly putting emphasis on those characters being like, hey, look at how diverse my book is.
Hmm.
That it becomes icky to me. And so, like, an
Hmm.
example that I gave you was someone in one of my classes was writing about not necessarily people in India, but Indian people because it was a
Hmm.
dystopian novel. Um, and they were really like at the front of the classroom giving us their whole sort of life story about how they love India and they spent years in India. And ever since they left India, they want to make sure that they write Indian characters. And I'm like, yeah, like, I
Hmm.
mean, I think that's, you know,
Hmm.
I think that's
Like,
fun, but I don't necessarily think that, I don't know that that's the first thing at the
mhm.
forefront of your mind when you're telling me about your book. Maybe tell me what the book's about. Maybe tell me the themes. I don't know.
So, like for me personally, if it is a white person, like German, European, Iceland, Ireland, if you
They're
that
all
white,
European.
okay, of white, if you are that white and you want all of your characters to have to be a person of color, it just rubs me the wrong way because I don't want to see all these brown people on the cover and then I read it and then I get to about the author and they're white and I'm just like, it doesn't feel like the connection's broken. I could have felt so connected to these characters. I could have been seen, but as soon as I see that it was written by a white person, I'm like,
I definitely
minus one star.
I, I definitely think that there's a difference between like making your cast of characters diverse because your protagonist is in a world of diverse people versus being like diversity is what's selling right now. I need to make my characters diverse and like make sure that these diverse characters are on the cover and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which so like if we're thinking about like American Dirt, for example, do you know about American Dirt?
Yeah.
And we talked about that in my class. I was constantly comparing it to Yellowface. It was so similar.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
but like in American Dirt, they're obviously trying to use the fact that we have Mexican immigrants in the story. And they are trying to make the writer seem like she's more Latino than she is, right? They
Hmm.
intentionally leave her face out of some promotions. They intentionally
Mm.
emphasize that her husband was an illegal immigrant at one point without saying from Ireland, right? And so, yeah,
What I
right?
tell you.
And so when we are using diversity as like a bargaining chip or like as a marketing tool, then it becomes really like disingenuous. Versus if you're
Yeah.
like, I'm writing about this character and I'm fleshing them out, and they're in a world of people that don't look like them or come from different
Mhm.
cultures than them, I think that's valid. And I think that you can write about that in a good and genuine way versus being like, I don't know, immigration's a hot topic right now. And so my
Mhm.
book's about that. Leave my
Mhm.
face out of the promo. So they think that I am a Latina woman when I clearly am a white
Right.
woman. Leave my
No,
husband's
they.
personality out. Like,
Mhm. No, I didn't even notice that. That was like, well, I guess I did kind of, but I didn't think about it how it was like done on purpose because I would like see 9 times out of 10 a romance book. It's like two brown people, whether who knows what brown they are. And I go to the back of the book and it's just like Abby Zakowski. And I'm like, but there's not a picture. But there's
yeah,
not a picture. Yeah.
it
Um,
can be intentional. Like with American Dirt in the article that we read from my class in Vulture, I think they had like feedback from like editors and junior editors who throughout the promotion and planning for American Dirt were saying, hey, it looks like we're catfishing people. Hey, it looks like we're obscuring this on purpose. And everyone was just like, please be quiet. Like, you know what
mhm,
I mean? Like, so they
mhm,
were really doing it on purpose. And every opportunity that they had to sort of stop and reassess, they just pushed right past it. So I'm not
mhm.
saying that it's always that way. And I'm so sure that like there are white authors out there who are attempting to do this from a genuine place and then the execution just isn't there. But
Yeah.
sometimes that's just on purpose. That's all I'm saying.
Right. So, what do you think? Hold on. Okay, what I'm trying to get at is that if you're a white person writing um, people of color, you need at least two white people. You can't just be like, I am Abby Zakowski writing about all of these different cultures that you know nothing about, and or writing about people of these cultures that you know nothing about. I don't know if you want to add any sort of culture, whatever, because I cannot enforce this enough. This is what I think about every time I think about a white person writing a person of color. And I think I have brought this up before, but it was a black woman and they were talking about her hair. And I was just like, it was so disingenuous. It was just, it was I guess show don't tell, you know? It was just like, I am black and I don't like people touching my hair. And I'm like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So that is all I ever think about. So I might have a chip on my shoulder about white people writing people of color because I hated that shit. And that's all I ever think about. And the author had like a ethnic name, but no, she hella white. White, white, white.
I mean, I definitely don't have like a quota for them to meet or whatever. But I would say that you should be careful how you go about it. And I mean, I feel like writing a novel is a very careful thing anyway. There are so many things for you to consider. That should be one of them. How are you portraying characters of a race that is not your own within your story, especially if they are a large part of the story, which would indicate, maybe falsely, that you know what you're talking about, that you've done some research, and that you know how to speak about these characters or from the point of view of these characters in a genuine way that's not like micro or even macro aggressive. Um, so
So
yeah, case by case
do
maybe.
you think a white author, sorry, white people, do you think a white author could just be like, I am writing brown people without going into what those brown people are and get away with it, or do they need to get into the culture of sorts?
What do you mean by that? I'm writing brown people. Like, what do you mean by that?
Okay, so they can just be like, this is so racist of me. They could be like, Sanjay is brown and woo woo woo, but they don't like get into the culture of Sanjay.
Oh,
They're
it
just like,
definitely depends. So if like Sanjay is a main character, then probably not.
hmm,
Like you probably need to give me some background. And I want to
okay.
say, I want to say that I've seen a white writer do like right from the perspective of a character of color who was adopted into a white family and therefore like sort of separated from their
Hmm. Hmm.
but like so there's that. If he's like a dynamic character, we're going to be seeing a lot of him, he's going to be changing throughout the course of the novel, then yeah, I want to learn about his home life, I want to learn about his culture, where he comes from, his belief system, just like I would any other main character.
Okay.
And then if he's like a secondary or tertiary character, like I guess it just depends on his role in the story. So if he's
Hmm.
a character that I only see a couple of times, then you probably just need to tell me that his name is Sanjay and we can move on. And it would be just like
Yeah.
Elizabeth, who's a tertiary character. You can also just tell me her name's Elizabeth and we can move on.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely think it depends. But I think to answer your question more specifically, I don't think any character is detached from culture or from methodology or from a belief system of some sort. And I think that that's
Hmm.
what characterization is to like put all of
Hmm.
that into the text in some
Hmm.
way. And so
Yeah.
when you're writing a character of color, a lot of times race or ethnicity is going to determine that culture or that framework that
Right.
they're using.
Okay, I personally don't have the answer because people hate Taylor Jenkins Reid because of other reasons. But when she wrote the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, apparently she's writing Hispanic women, and the Hispanics are not happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the answer is. But going back to American Dirt, what do you think should have been done in the promotion?
I think that they should have just. Oh, sorry, hold on. So I just think that they should have, I don't know, just promoted the book.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there are so many books that are put out every year that are not promoted based on the author's background or proximity to um, the substance of the text.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they should have just written the book and been honest about it.
Yeah, honesty is the best policy, people.
From what
Did
I
no one go to Christian school?
from what I read, Janine Cummins is like her grandmother is from Puerto Rico, I think. That's fine. Why couldn't we
Mm-hmm.
just say that? Why
Mm-hmm.
couldn't we just talk about the fact that Janine Cummins felt drawn to write about this topic? And I haven't
Mm-hmm.
read American Dirt. I probably won't.
Me neither.
Um,
Yeah.
but like I believe that the main character is a white woman.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
So is Janine Cummins.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a white woman who gets sort of pulled into this like cartel life, which was another reason for the backlash was about the cartel parts. But like so is Janine Cummins. So she's close to, an identity to the main character. So why do we need to dial up her proximity and connections to the immigrant community?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that they needed to do that. Like it was very clearly something that they were doing for marketing to try, to try to bring in
Oh.
like Mexican Americans or immigrants from Mexico, or
See, that's what I'm telling you. That's when I like you read a book thinking that it's about you, and then you see a white lady at the back, and you're like, no.
well, but that's the thing is that it's about a white woman. The book is. It's about
Mm-hmm.
the way that she falls into this ring and has to get herself and her child out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why dial that up when that's not what the book is about? So I think that
Well,
they
I'm saying the Hispanics got felt duped because
sure,
of yeah. Mm-hmm.
and I think that they should have just talked about the book. One of the
Mm-hmm.
criticisms in the article I read said that like this is very clearly a thriller. He was like, it's like from the first paragraph, I'm drawn in because it's thrilling and exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we just market this as a thriller or an action novel
Instead of what? Like a
instead
fiction
of
novel?
Literally, one of the editors said this novel is about the true immigrant experience.
Why
Instead of that,
that?
instead of doing that, let's do what the book's about, actually. That would be my advice as someone who has
That
never
was
read a book, as someone who does not have an agent, but that reads a lot of books. That would be my advice. Yeah, they
what?
did that. They did that.
Oh my God. So should I don't know if people should be jumping down her throat rather than the publication's throat.
It's definitely so in the Vulture article.
Because she's having another book out and I see people like, no, girl. So
It's definitely, I don't have a book, but like it definitely seems like she was sort of complicit in the process of this whole thing. So there are
mm-hmm.
definitely, you don't have all of the power when you sign a publishing deal. You have very little of the power. So however
Mm-hmm.
they decide to market the book is how they decide to
Mm-hmm.
market the book. However, she was the one saying my husband was an illegal immigrant and leaving out Irish.
Mm-hmm.
That was her. She was the one at conferences or at talks when she would get specific questions about her connection to the immigrant community, and she would sort of circumnavigate those questions and like dance around them.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that she played a part in it. Had she
Mm-hmm.
been like, whoever the publisher was, you're tripping, then that would be different. But she didn't. That's not what she did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah. And so what I would really be interested to see from writers who get like this sort of wave of backlash like this is I would like to see them do a Richard Bachman thing. And Richard Bachman is Stephen King's pen name. And so
Oh.
I'd like to see them do a pen name because now
Mm-hmm.
you've got all this controversy around you. Your book's going to sell no matter what. It's going to sell.
Mm-hmm.
It could be garbage. It's going to sell. So
Mm-hmm.
make your name Taylor J. Faraday and see if it sells. See
Not
what
Faraday. It's Farabee. Thank you.
see if it happens. See if it sells. Or is this book going to be successful because you're coasting off of the backlash and the controversy and some of the people who like the book
It
from the last.
gives people another reason to talk about you. So there's no bad press,
Yeah. I
as they
almost said
say.
shit for a second, but yeah.
As they say. Okay, cool beans. I don't
Oh,
know how we got here, but I love it.
I know it too. All right. So looking ahead, what are your upcoming writing goals? Anything you want to tell us that you have coming up?
My writing goals, hopefully by the time we meet again, I will have had my manuscript read through and edited twice. And then my next month, my youngest niece turns 1. She is just a baby and so cute. I love birthday parties, just like in general. So we have 2 April birthday parties. I am going to meet the author of Harlem Rhapsody next month. Do you know who that is? No. Okay, well, me neither. But she is a beautiful Black woman, and her book sounds really good. So I'm going to meet her, and I'm so excited. And next month, I get to meet Jasmine Guillory. She's coming to Indy. And I'm excited to see her and meet her and hopefully ask some questions because she's written hetero romance, but this is her first FF romance. So I'm like, oh snap, how did this come about? Da da da, woo woo woo. So I'm really intrigued to see her and hear about how she got there with this story. So yeah, it's Independent Bookstore Day. Yeah.
You sounded so excited for independent bookstore.
I love Independent Bookstore Day. A friend of mine online, her debut is coming out, See Me on Set by DS Walls. The final season of You is coming out. Yeah, April's cute. I like April.
Excellent. Um, Okay, for me, so I have my story's coming out in the Georgia Review. It should be before we record the next podcast. Um, AWP, which is the Association of Writers and Writing Programs, the conference starts tomorrow, I think, and it's in LA. And I figured that they would want to have the new issues there to sell at the book fair part of it.
Mhm.
So I think it'll be out really soon. And then I have a story, well, an essay, excuse me, coming out in Hobart on April 6th. That one, yeah,
That's so exciting.
that one is very interesting.
Mm.
I've already started work on my digital humanities project that I'm doing. I applied for funding through my school for this project. If I get the funding, it would be about 4 grand. And so I hope to get it funded, but if they say no to me, then I'm still gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it on my own time, so it'll take me longer. But I
Mhm.
hope that they will give me the money to do so.
What is it? What is it?
It's a digital humanities project.
What
And
does that
so
entail?
so digital humanities is like, oh, this is gonna sound stupid, but bridging the digital media with humanities. And so a lot of the times it's like I'm going to be translating a lot of text that you can only get in physical copy so that they can live on the internet forever. Or I'm going to make this
Mm.
tracking map that shows us all of the literature that we read at UNL and where it comes from. So we can see, like, at a glance, okay, we're reading mostly American people and not many people from Southeast Asia and like Pacific Islands, stuff like that. But my specific project is a little bit different because I dare to be different. And it's about it's about the Black Panther Party, and just sort of demystifying their work and their practices and seeing what we can take and implement in our lives in current day. So that's what my project's about. And
Mhm.
I'm hoping to plan my summer class. I'm teaching this summer, so I have to plan that. I'm hoping to get a different second job because this one's that I have since. And
Yeah.
I actually brought you up to my mom because of this last one. I
Hello.
I need to get back on my exercise regimen because it is out of the window. It's gone. It's out of
Yeah.
here. I'm
Yeah.
doing it. Um, and so I'm hoping that I'll be able to get a different second job and put that schedule in place. And so I'll have like 3, maybe 4 regular days to just to work out every morning or so.
Well, I'm gonna go to the YouTube class of fitness. Just be like 30-minute workout play because
I've
yeah.
done that too. And like I just get bored.
Mm,
So like for me, I'll find one that I think is decent and I'm like, okay, I can do this. And then the second day I do it, I'm like, wow, I really hate the music. And then the third day I do
mm,
I like, I don't know. I'm like, oh, like I hate this. And so what I'll end up
mm,
doing is playing the YouTube video like on my TV and then like setting
mhm,
up YouTube on my phone,
mhm.
sitting it in front and like using my headphones so I can listen to what's happening on my phone, but do like the moves with the TV. And then it
Yeah.
gets tedious and then I end up stopping. Like I do it every time.
Mhm.
So that's not
I get
sustainable
it.
for me.
No,
But
I get it.
that works for you, then I think that's great because there are a lot of
I'm
great YouTube videos for working out.
I'm trying and it's really annoying me. I think I talked about this in my last video. Like trying to get a job at the most mundane places and they are acting like you are trying to work for the CIA. So I have been trying to get a gym job for a minute after leaving my last one because they made me. So yeah, like those, do you do group fitness?
I haven't.
I
I've done it
love
before,
group
but
fitness.
I haven't in a long time.
I love group fitness. So that's why I'm trying to get back in the gym. But I guess until that happens, I will be at the YouTube Academy of Fitness.
I've done like cardio group fitness, like Zumba, I've done Pound, I've done a bunch of those. And then more recently, right before I left Indy, I was doing like group fitness, but it was like weight training. And
Yeah.
I liked that, but I did it at the same time
Hmm.
because it would be like I don't need you fucking yelling at me. I don't know. I don't need it. And
Do they
so
yell at you specifically or yell at the class?
me specifically, so whoever's working out.
Oh
So
no,
it would be like
no.
four of us and we would do like supinated whatever the fucks and then
Mm-hmm.
um dumbbell presses or whatever. So we do
Mm-hmm.
like a superset
Mm-hmm.
and it's like okay, if I'm doing the supinated arm curls or whatever they're called, and this person's waiting on me to finish my 12 reps or whatever, then they're yelling directly
Mm.
at me. And so is the trainer.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
same for when I go superset with the dumbbell presses or whatever the fuck they're called, I'm getting yelled directly at by the person who's waiting on me and the trainer. And I don't
No, I don't
that
believe
work
in
for me.
yelling.
That doesn't work for me. And then at the same time,
Mm-mm.
you also want me to yell. I'm not yelling, baby. I'm
Mm-mm.
good.
Mm-mm. No, that's weird.
um, yeah, but I do like, cardio in like a group setting. I
Mhm.
think it works well. And I have.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll get there, hopefully. I'm in the same boat, so don't be telling your mom about me acting like I'm doing better because I'm not.
Well, no, I was like, I'm gonna tell Taylor about this tomorrow because I know she's going through the same thing. Maybe we can like come up with a plan or something. That's what I was telling her.
What's our plan?
And I don't know. And then because my mom was saying the same thing, she was like, since I saw you, I've gained like, God, what did she say? I'm not gonna put
Don't
my
be
mom.
putting your mom.
I'm not gonna put her out there.